Ateneo basketball head coach Tab Baldwin ends his silence and tells the parents of the dead players, quote, "I am sorry to the depth of my being." Philippine Defense Chief Gilberto Teodoro Jr. is banned from entering China and its territories. Campus infrastructure damage at the Mindanao State University in General Santos City is estimated at nearly 870 million pesos. Former South Korean President Yoon is sentenced to 30 years in prison for military drones sent over North Korea. And Taylor Swift becomes the second youngest songwriter ever inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Ateneo Blue Eagles head coach Tab Baldwin ends his silence and addresses the deaths of basketball players Rene Baterbonia and Divine Adili.
But mostly, as a coach, I'm entrusted by you, the parents and the families, with first and foremost their well-being. And in this, I feel I failed. And I'm sorry. To the depth of my being, I'm sorry.
He calls the exercise a routine training in what they thought was shallow water. He also says the coaches and the players did everything they could to ensure that everybody arrived back on shore safely.
And then we realized that we hadn't accomplished that. And in that moment, I experienced the descent into the darkest place imaginable. And yet I knew at the same time that good people that had done an amazing job raising these two young men, were going to be in an even darker, more horrible place. At that moment, I felt I had failed. I failed as a leader. I felt I had failed as a coach. I certainly felt like I had failed as a friend to Divine and Renee.
The video message comes 4 days after the incident. It also comes after Ateneo educators urged school officials and the Blue Eagles coaching staff to address the deaths in person. The open letter to Ateneo President Father Roberto Yap, titled "When Ateneo Failed Its Own," seeks greater clarity and transparency from the university. The letter has gained over 400 signatures. The letter reads, "We appeal for the university administration and coaching staff to come forward in person with humility and acknowledgement of wrongdoing and lapses in judgment, risk mitigation, communication, and most especially care for our students." The educators also raised questions, including whether the parents and guardians were informed of the nature of the team building, if there were safety measures put in place, and what concrete measures of accountability have been done. Philippine Defense Chief Gilberto Teodoro Jr. is banned from entering China and its territories. China's Foreign Affairs Ministry also bans Teodoro from engaging in any transaction, cooperation, or other activities with organizations or individuals in China. The sanction also applies to Teodoro's wife and Philippine Special Envoy to UNICEF, Monica Luis Prieto Teodoro, and their adult son. In a statement, the ministry claims Teodoro, quote, "repeatedly made irresponsible remarks on China, which undermines China's legitimate interests and sabotages China-Philippines relations." The Philippine Foreign Affairs Department says, while it was China's prerogative to impose sanctions, the Philippines views it as an unfriendly act that further complicates the bilateral relations. Teodoro is President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s second cabinet official to be sanctioned by Beijing. His newly appointed labor chief, former Senator Francis Tolentino, is also barred from entering mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau. Teodoro says Friday, June 12, the sanctions were both China's right and, quote, "truly what they do to those who speak the truth against their deception." Mindanao State University General Santos City Chancellor Shidik Z. Abantas says they face campus infrastructure damage initially estimated at nearly 870 million pesos. The figure reflects the scale of rebuilding for damaged academic buildings, administrative offices, and student facilities across the campus. Abantas says for the first time, our earthquake-tested buildings showed weakness when faced with a magnitude 7.8 earthquake. He says nearly 90% of the offices had already undergone repairs and renovations before the earthquake struck. Because of damage from the earthquake, Abanta says they are back to zero. He confirms academic activities will continue, but summer classes will shift online while repairs and safety assessments are ongoing. University records show MSU-GenSan serves about 9,500 students across 9 colleges and 1 institute, including more than 8,600 undergraduates. A South Korean court sentences former President Yoon to 30 years in prison over charges linked to military drones sent over Pyongyang, North Korea. The military drones allegedly helped Yoon create a pretext for his failed December 2024 martial law declaration. The Seoul Central District Court found Yoon guilty of abuse of power and aiding the enemy and for allegedly conspiring in the October 2024 drone incursion. Yoon denies wrongdoing and his lawyers say he neither ordered nor approved the operation. The ruling adds to a series of judgments against the ousted conservative leader. He was removed from office last year after the Constitutional Court upheld his impeachment, triggering a snap election that was won by Liberal President Lee Jae-myung. Taylor Swift becomes the second youngest songwriter ever inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame next to Stevie Wonder. She is the youngest woman to enter the list. Established in 1969, the Songwriters Hall of Fame requires songwriters to have a notable catalog of songs 20 years after their first commercial release of a song. Swift has won the Grammy Album of the Year 4 times. Swift is inducted alongside Alanis Morissette, Kenny Loggins, and Kiss bandmates Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. Billboard says her latest album, The Life of a Showgirl, sold more copies than any other album in the modern era during its first week of release. Her record-breaking Eras tour spawned a concert film and a 6-part documentary series on streaming platform Disney+. In May 2025, Swift announced she bought her music rights, officially reclaiming ownership of all her master recordings, including her first 6 albums. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. For more updates, download the wRap.